But we have one of them in this group. It is Nerchio, and as it turns out, also goes to user, at least on this day, when he was able to take down MMA. We'll have to find out later on if he can take the winner's match, or at least win the consolation match to advance in the group. But for now, we are focusing a little bit more on our PvZ, with Genius up against Nerchio. Start in a few seconds.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm interested to see what we're going to see from Nerchio. Normal. If you see the Stargate again, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's Genius style for you, and seeing anything else would surprise me. Genius is not normally the guy to try that Immortal push that's so popular these days.
That's actually true. He's really not using the Immortal push a lot. And now the game, of course, being live at top right with our Zerg player in the red. Starting for Team Acer, the second player, we have Nerchio. It's not MMA, no, it's Nerchio, the Polish player. One of two great Polish players that we have these days, Mana and him.
Yeah, we need a Polish Terran player to seal the deal.
Well, there's always Tarzan. In our hearts, there's always Tarzan.
In our hearts, for sure.
Fnatic Alive is not playing in this game. That's the first time that we made the mistake right at the beginning. Great. But his account is present. It's used by Genius, bottom left of the map in blue, the Protoss player. And let's see what he's gonna do today. We have him on Daybreak, of course, with Pile on the low ground. And you know, the funny thing is, if you talk about the Polish players, Mana and Nerchio really having this rivalry going on between them.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about that in the interview. It's really funny to think about how there's rivalries that exist and how certain countries outside of Korea seem to be stronger than other non-Korean countries, and how the story of being the best player from a certain region that's not Korea can develop as well. Because stories of Canada, stories of Sweden, Poland, there's all sorts of competitions that go on there, and I really like that.
To me, it's just always sad if you have a country where you have two great players and they don't get really along all that well. Germany, for example, all the players that play on a pro level are really friendly with each other, helping each other out all the time, spending a lot of time with each other as well. The same, I feel, is true for Sweden. You have a couple of rivalries going on in Sweden as well, but in general, the players that you have there are really good friends. Of course, there's always this Thorzane and, well, Naniwa thing.
Yeah.
But even that is not as bad as people sometimes picture.
That's very true. And Sweden actually has so many good pro gamers coming out.
Sweden is cheating somehow. I don't know how they do it. They have like how many people are living in Sweden? 9 million, something like that. And they have so many good pro gamers.
And they get to have their games televised on national government television.
We have nearly 90 million people living in Germany, and how many awesome players do we have that are able to compete on the top level? It's just
you
not
might hurt
fair.
some people's feelings when you say that.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't think that anyone doubts that Sweden has more good players than Germany in StarCraft 2. I mean, if you actually, I'm German, okay, I want to believe that we have more good players and that ours are better. But right now, to be realistic, it's not the
realistically
case.
speaking, you're right. That's definitely true.
Look at Sweden, you see those Naniwas, those Thorzane, Sasa. You have players like Moro, there's too many of them.
There's too many, man.
Sort of. Bishu, even Bishu, that guy is so underrated.
By the way, in the future, in the very near future in Heart of the Swarm, talking about worldwide play and also talking about the Fnatic Alive ID that we have here, there's going to be a global play for Heart of the Swarm, so I'm really excited about that because I think that can definitely foster some international growth. And also, if you're a player who lives in Europe, for example, you want to try out, you've heard about how hard the Korean server is. Yeah, the Korean server is not going to be as pure, quote unquote, as it was once before because anyone can join in and play on it. But once you get into like Masters and you're on the Korean server, you're going to feel something different.
Yeah, you're going to feel something different on the Korean server very, very fast. When I first came here, I had this one account where I just threw all my placement matches away, and I wanted to experience like the bottom of the ladder and make my way through bronze as high as possible. And oh my god, even at, I mean, not really at bronze level, but if you play like top bronze players, yeah, they lost and you didn't have a problem winning against them, but you could see that they had an idea of what they wanted to do, They
Yeah.
had a plan.
They have a strategy.
Exactly, they have a plan. They don't execute it well and they lose the game, but they at least have an idea of what they are trying to do. If you go on another server and you play in a Bronze League match, these guys, they just build what looks good. That unit is expensive, okay, I'm gonna build 5. And I was really, really impressed.
I remember when I first got my green account, it was given to me, it was already, someone had already played some games on it. It was in Gold League. I remember the very first game I played was on Jungle Basin. By the way, it was Stargate. And,
no surprise there.
Yeah, speaking of Stargates, play PvP, and I went to check the backdoor expansion for proxies. No surprise on the Korean server. I expected a proxy because people was like, everybody cheese on the Korean server, there's a proxy there. And 2 gateways are building, and so I just immediately pull my pro away. I'm like, well, it's a little bit too far away for me to do a pro pull, so I start my own second gateway. I get ready to prepare. Then I go and send the probe in again, and both gateways are just gone. I'm like, he just canceled both his gateways because I scouted. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna forget him. He's way behind. Then he had 1 void ray and really good micro, and he actually ended up holding my attack. And he had expansion at the back door. I ended up losing that game, and I was like, what? It's definitely a different experience playing on the Korean server for sure. You never know what you're gonna get. People play the same strategy. You know, you hit that guy. He plays the same strategy only like 50 games, so he knows all the different transition points, and you're like,
yeah, oh, okay. I was really surprised when I started to play on the Korean. That was something. But then I also learned that if you actually drop your 5 placement matches, that it takes an eternity to get promoted.
yeah, don't ever do that.
Even if you win like 50 games in a row.
Yeah.
It takes ages. I was like, what is going on here? I won the last 40 games. When did I get my promotion?
That was also, you were playing during that buggy time when like nobody was getting promoted, and you like had like a bunch of placement matches and you never got placed.
Ah, that was awful.
Yeah, it was a pretty buggy time. I remember that. Luckily for me, I was placed before I didn't have that problem.
Well, right now in this game, currently, as you could see, we have not too much aggression going on. We have the Stargate opening that we expected from Genius. He's moving in with a few of his Phoenixes now, and well, he will do a bit of damage, but not too much.
Yeah, kills the queen, and now some overlords are gonna die. Could go for some drones if he wants to as well.
Yeah, he actually does a decent amount here. That Sparkler timing was not as well timed out as I thought it would be. Does a lot.
Yeah. And he's gonna kill another overlord here. It's actually gonna supply block him temporarily.
Yeah, Nerchio here definitely annoyed by his opponent's strategy. So Genius currently playing this quite well. Nerchio with a finished lair tech now, and +1/+1 on his way. Also the Zerglings trying to run in.
Block here. Oh! That one Ling got in with the automaton, but
the automaton helped him. He pulled him over.
That's unlike Scanopedes. Automatons have enough to get involved.
And well, this third base,
yeah,
well defended.
He can't quite attack that with the amount of force fields that Genius has.
And Nerchio is now still supplyable, but not for long. He will have those overlords in a few seconds. He's going into the infestation pit tag. We have him with a really good creep spread at the third base.
Yeah, that's insane.
This is so awesome against immortal pushes. He doesn't have to face it in this game, but you can really see that he is just prepared for all eventualities. His Spore Crawler was a little bit too late. He didn't really expect the Stargate to happen here, so he lost a little bit too much. Not a ton. It's not like he lost the game because of it, but yeah, he took a few more losses than he should have suffered.
Yeah, he's going to lose a little bit more here. Genius is very careful with how he picks up these drones on the edge.
The Lings are always starting in at the bottom right and trying to do some damage, but they just can't do it.
He's hoping he can maybe find Genius out of position. Uh-oh, this Queen got a little bit out of position coming to the edge of the creep, and that's where Genius grabbed on and took his prey.
Yep, the Queen is dead, along with the Queen, at least the rest of them. And now we have Charge and Colossus coming up. You can see the fourth base already for Nerchio here, and Genius will probably try to hit the timing on 3 bases where he pushes into the third. So for Nerchio, it's now time to prepare. Nerchio is known as one of these players who usually doesn't suffer too much damage from any kind of cheese that you throw against him.
Yeah.
He can read you like an open book. I will never forget a series that he played against Goody, where he called in every single game. No matter what Goody played, he called his opening immediately. And he played mind games with his opponent. It was crazy. He knows all the timings.
Yeah.
He knows everything that's going on. And he knows fully well when he can take a fight and when he has to back up.
Nerchio's a great player. He's got a lot of talent. And this Phoenix will not deny the hatchery. That was close. If he had paid attention, he would have been able to get that. But he knows about the hatch now.
The middle of the map now with the fourth base, that's the point where Nerchio has to defend. And this is also where he wants to buy time. Therefore, of course, the Spine Crawlers. He wants to buy himself time to get this Lair tech up, the Hive tech up, and the Spire tech wants to go into the Broodlords now. He's focusing on a very Zergly heavy composition, which has been a lot more popular in the last few, let's say, 4 weeks. A lot of Zerg
Yeah,
players,
just very recently.
mass Zergling, trying to get a couple of Corruptors out to deal with the Colossi.
Yeah, no Hydralisk play from Nerchio.
No, he's not fooled into getting the Hydra here.
Yeah, not going to do it at all, and that's something that would really. I mean, Genius prepared for the Hydra so well. He already has Colossi out. His range is done. His third Colossus is halfway done. In fact,
Even the Templar Archives.
Yeah, Templar Archives. He starts storming. He's like, wait a minute, it's not quite appropriate yet. I'm going to get 2 Archons and I'm going to get Blink instead.
Yeah. Doesn't have the Blink upgrade. That of course a little bit more important than the Storm here.
Yeah, I think so.
But he needs also to hit the timing.
Yeah, he needs that time because with these spines finishing, I feel like Nerchio could definitely start that Greater Spire at any moment.
I feel like he will, and of course Genius knows about the timings. He wants to hit before the Broodlord's out. But right now we have him with War Prism and War Prism Speed, which is the reaction that a lot of Protoss players go for when they assume that they are going to face Broodlords, because they want to be more mobile, they want to hit those additional attacks in the main base, want to just spread the Zerg out as thin as possible.
Hit him where it hurts, take out his tech, maybe kill a hatchery if he's not paying attention. Or just have that warping point with your main army.
Exactly. Both really important for him. 5 bases against 3, and this is the time when Genius really has to react. There's also the Greater Spire now on its way, and we have Genius on the way to the bottom right.
Yep, he's going to kill his hatchery easily, putting it Nerchio down to 4 bases again. He's got a warping point, but I think he's actually just going to fight straight up here. Is he actually going to go into these spines? This is before Greater Spire, because now he's got large charge zealots, but there's so many infestors out. The Archons, though, go into town on those Corruptors, having a perfect angle here.
Yeah, the Archons are going in, and Genius is pressuring into Nerchio. All those Corruptors are trying to take down these Colossi, but guess what? They are all still alive. There are 3 still left, but Nerchio is still able to defend, and this meat shield is not really there anymore. Only 1 Archon left. He has a good position to take down this 5th base at the bottom right now, especially with those zealots in the main base that have been warped in by Genius at the same time to open up another flank, and Nerchio didn't even realize what happened.
Yeah, I mean, even if he had known, I feel like he didn't have enough brooches to actually defend. Now he's starting to send them over, but this next warp in his zealots, he's just have to pick that up. He's going to realize that it's not worth it.
Genius here doing a decent job.
I feel like Genius could have used his Phoenixes more in that last fight against the infestors, picking them up. Maybe he wanted to, looks like, fight against the Corruptors with his Archons, but either way, Genius definitely ahead at this point with the 4th base he's got finishing up in the middle of the map, but he's also got the Mothership tech coming out with his Fleet Beacon almost finished at this point.
On the other hand, Nerchio with 150 supply heading into the Broodlords now, and he does, let me double check, he doesn't have a Broodlord just yet. No, the first 2 are morphing, but that hit him really hard. He lost a lot there, and now the momentum is going for his opponent. That phase will have to cancel.
That momentum may have just been lost with this. The cannons are just a few seconds away from completion.
He's just caught completely out of position. His army's at the bottom right. He didn't even expect Nerchio to go for a move like this. Nerchio could have just killed that pilot. That would have been so much easier.
Yeah. But killing the cannons, I guess, ensures that at the very least he will be able to go for a run by again if Genius is out of position. The Mothership is the key at this point with all of the units that Genius has. Otherwise, though, he can actually avoid this Spinecrawler wall and try to go into the natural. There's not even a creep in between the 3rd base and or rather the 4th base and the natural.
In the main base, we still have 1 Spore Crawler just with 39 hit points that could take down this War Prism if he gets a bit too overeager. And Nerchio now with another base attempt at the bottom right, trying to establish this 5th, takes down the pylon that he just found, but he has to be a little bit careful with how he approaches Genius' army now. He has definitely the Broodlord numbers that he needs, 8 already, and he goes for 4 infestors.
But he's got no Corruptors at this point, and that's a lot of Colossi to have to face with no Corruptors.
Yeah, he's just now getting the first few, so low on money. That's definitely the problem that Nerchio is facing.
Yeah. Mothership getting dangerously close here, then the Warp Prism coming out as well for harassment potential.
The upgrades are not too bad for Nerchio. He doesn't really have attack upgrades for his Roaches, he's just now researching them. Wants to snipe the Nexus once more, and I guess that's gonna work, yeah?
I think he should be able to get it. Would have been easier with those attack upgrades that you mentioned.
Oh!
That was close.
It was really close. I was really scared for a second. I was like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah, if he had missed that, he would have lost way too much.
Sniping this third is pretty awesome though, because the fourth, because then Nerchio will still have a bit of a lead in the minerals that he overall mined, and the gas of course too.
Yeah, but now Genius is ahead 40 army supply, and he's got a great composition. He even has the mothership out on the map now.
It's true. That's definitely true. He doesn't have the energy for Vortex just yet, but it's not gonna be long. And I would not be surprised if Genius actually moves outright when he has enough energy.
Looks like he may end up moving out and taking out the base of the bottom right while he's waiting for that energy, and then as soon as he has it, moving out to fight the main army with the spines.
Could use it for recall also,
yeah, that's
the mothership
very
here.
true. Looks like he's just gonna send a few zealots. I really like how Genius is handling this.
He's playing smart, you know?
Yeah.
I feel
not overextending in any way, just finding where it hurts and poking him.
He's much more the dominant force in this game than Nerchio is. I expected it to be the other way around, but Genius is playing very well here.
Not targeting the hatchery at the end of the day though, so he will be cleaned up here. Spine Crawler's in the worst possible place right now for Nerchio though while he was defending that.
Try to move them and they didn't get a single poke off. That was really bad for Nerchio. That's not what he wanted. And look at this bang for Genius, whereas on the other hand Nerchio is broke. This guy doesn't have money.
Nope.
Phoenixes are finally gone. But
yeah,
now the final battle.
He wants to get rid of those Phoenixes so he can actually max out with better units. And +2 armor is almost done, and those units are going to get Vortex. Oh, Nerchio way overextending with those rulers, having them all clumped up.
Ouch.
This is going to be game ending, I feel.
I think so too. This should take down his Brood Lords in seconds.
He's got the Colossi to support as well underneath for those Professor Terrans that are spawning right now. And
here we go,
and god.
Bam, everything dies. We have everything in there. GG. Nerchio leaves the game. Wow, that was painful.
You gotta make sure your Brewlords are not clumped. I think that may have been the first time he saw the mothership too, so you may not have been expecting it quite like that.
You know, that's actually true. He might not have known about the mothership and therefore just tried to go in there. But well, if he knew about the mothership, this was definitely well,
a rash decision.
Yeah, that's not what you should try to do.